What's going on, guys? Jesse Haynes here with cardlines.com, and in this video we're going to count down the top 10 football brands to invest in. We have an article that's a deeper dive on the same topic, and I encourage you to check it out. I wrote it. Very good, quality writer, very handsome and charming. Check it out, click the link below. And this is my personal opinion, so this video is going to be my opinion. I'm going to try to justify it as much as possible at a high level view, but I also invite your pushback, thoughts, and comments below. Just leave your notes, keep it civil, but let's have a fun discussion about the best brands. I'm going to be swayed either way a little bit, so we want some community feedback. With that said, let's get into the presentation. Wait, hold up. This is very serious. We're going to lock in here. Guys, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Click the button below. It's very easy. It doesn't cost you anything. We're providing free entertainment for all of y'all, so yeah, do us a solid. Click that button. We love you. All right, resume the music. Let's get it going. Countdown. Here's our presentation. I made it. Very proud of this thing. It's my best graphical work yet. Best football brands to invest in. First, there's 3 different criteria that we talked about: legacy, entry fee, and appeal. This is just my way of trying to, define what we're looking for when we say best brand. It's pretty arbitrary, so here's the best way that we can quantify it. And it's still very opinionated, but you got to measure off something, So legacy is how long the product's been around. The longer, obviously, the better. Entry fee refers to the price point. Barrier of entry is a common term they throw around. If it costs a lot to get into the product, less people are going to be able to do so. And then appeal is this way to think about how popular it is, basically. It's a measurement of accessibility or mass appeal. I've given this example before. You have movies like La La Land. They win all the awards and they do very well. But then you have movies like Spider-Man that make more money because more people want to see them. And it's a, wider mass appeal, more broad spectrum of people going to go see those movies. So my number 10 brand, we're counting down in reverse order all the way down to number 1, is Chronicles. It is a brand that has not been around in the football space for very long. I think 2019 was the first year that it was introduced. And I've taken a lot of shots at Chronicles before on cardlines.com, especially Chronicles draft picks. That's my all-time least favorite brand. But Chronicles kind of suffers from the same issue. It's a repack. It's kind of a ship graveyard of all these different brands that didn't have enough to stand on their own 2 legs with Panini, so Panini's kind of combined them all into one release. So you get a lot of rookie cards of the best players, and they have very shallow checklist. So I always talk about flooding the market with a wide abundance of rookies, and Chronicles is probably the number 1 culprit of this. That said, if you're ripping boxes, it's a good one to rip because, like I said, there's a lot of rookie cards. I just wouldn't hold Chronicles rookies for long-term value. You're going to get a lot of good rookies when you open a box. They just might not age well. Number 9 is Absolute. It's been around since 2012. It's not, a super expensive release, $250 to $300. You get some nice hits, some very popular cards among collectors. Everybody seems to really respect Absolute for what it is, and since it's been around for long enough, it has a history to back it up. The cards are very pretty. They're very aesthetically pretty. Absolute has great patches and memorabilia cards that always look really sharp, so it's at 9. Number 8 is Mosaic. Mosaic's the younger stepbrother of the big 3 Optichrome brands, in my opinion. Those are, Select, OPTIC, and PRIZM. Mosaic was released in 2020, and it kind of felt to me as a afterthought, kind of a cash grab from Panini. Of course, they had PRIZM Mosaic that released as a basketball product in 2016-17, I believe. And then they decided to spin it off into its own brand right when the sports card market really took off and everything got super popular and valuable there. And the brand still looks good. They look nice. It just seems, like I said, kind of like a supplement to the big 3 Optichrome. And it's always going to be the stepbrother there, never as popular as the other 3. Next up is Flawless, which is the uber high-end brand. These are boxes that can cost $10,000 plus, and they're not even really boxes. You get a fancy little briefcase to store your cards. So that's how you know you're buying some high-end cards, is if you get a complimentary briefcase that you carry them in. So it's a cool product. It really is. I've never opened it, obviously, because you could buy like half a car for a box of Flawless. But the thing that turns off so many people, obviously, is the entry price. I like to spend money on sports cards, and I've never come anywhere near sniffing a box of Flawless because it's such a roll of the dice. You have to have just vast amounts of disposable income to rip Flawless. And it's not even necessarily an attractive long-term hold because you have that barrier of entry that's so high, it turns away a lot of people. If you have flawless cards, they're great. Great long-term holds if you pick up singles. And it's been around since, I believe, 2012, so it's been going for over a decade now of making these very nice gem-based high-end cards, but just because the overall price, it makes it a tough resell, even if you're setting on some. Next up is DONRUSS, which is one of my favorites. It is the lowest end brand I included on this list, but it's kind of the equivalent of Topps. If you think of DONRUSS as Topps and you think of DONRUSS OPTIC as Topps Chrome, it's the iconic or most iconic paper rookie card that Panini makes. The rated rookie cards look very good. They have this vintage feel. They're very retro looking, but they're also very sharp and they age well with a lot of cool parallels. So DONRUSS is a cool box. It doesn't cost too much. You usually get an autograph and a memorabilia card per box. And, you know, when you're ripping a box, a hobby box of cards for $200 or so, with a lot of good rookies and a lot of nice parallels, it's a win. It really is. It's not, you're not going to have the absolute home runs that you'd have in some other brands, but it's a very low risk and potentially high reward box. Contenders is perhaps the most iconic of the rookie autographs, with the rookie ticket autograph that has been around for so long that Tom Brady has a Contenders rookie ticket autograph card. Contenders, the whole theme is just making cards that look like tickets, so they have Super Bowl ticket variations and Wild Card Week variations and a lot of different parallels that are based on just looking like game tickets. The one downside about Contenders that is a chink in its armor, especially if you're opening a box, is that there aren't any good rookie cards. There are not like base Contenders rookies. So if you're opening a box of even Mosaic, like I said earlier, you can pull a Joe Burrow Silver PRIZM rookie. With Contenders, you can't do that. It's very, very autograph based, and you're really relying on pulling a nice autograph. I think you get 5 per box, but still, usually one of them is from somebody from the rookie photo shoot RPS autograph, and it's on card. But it's kind of like saying, oh, only one of these is going to be somebody who's like a top pick. So you're kind of handicapped right there. Select is the next one on my list. And Select's a confusing brand that I feel like almost is probably the most likely brand to need a handbook that comes with it. There are 3 different tiers of rookie cards, and that's the one thing about Select I think that makes it less attractive, is that you have to kind of explain it and you have to come in with some foundational knowledge about it to justify collecting it. So in order of least to more progressively rare cards, it's Concourse, Premier level, and then Field level. At least in years past. This year they changed it so that 2022 Select is Premier level instead of the middle tier is now the base, like the common tier. So that's really confusing. It just kind of like throws up everything else off. And then the middle tier is something else. I can't remember at the time what it's called. But just note that if you're buying 2022 Select, the numbers are off. So that's the only chink in its armor, is just a little bit more confusing. There's different variations. So if it's 2022 and you're hoping to pull a Desmond Ridder rookie, there are 3 different Desmond Ridder rookies, and all the cards look a little bit different, and they're all different tiers. Next up, number 3 is National Treasures. This, you can argue the National Treasures cards are the single most collectible, desirable cards, particularly the numbered to 99 rookie patch autographs. They are, if you look at, best-selling sports cards of all time, particularly modern cards, 70% of them are just the National Treasures RPA cards. They're numbered to 99. They sell for an absolute ton. The one-of-ones, those are like the cards that you can sell and retire early. Again, the big turnoff for National Treasures is the entry price. Unlike Flawless, you're not looking at $10,000. You're looking at anywhere from 2 to 4 to 5, depending on the year. But it's still a tougher resell. Here's my logic on National Treasures. It's been around since 2012. It's harder to enter, but not impossible. And everybody wants National Treasures, particularly the RPS. Number 2, here it is, OPTIC. Donruss OPTIC is the chromium version of Donruss that we discussed earlier. So technically there's OPTIC Donruss, like Donruss OPTIC, and then there's Contenders OPTIC, which is the chromium version of Contenders. That's a popular brand. It's not as cool as OPTIC. There are a lot of awesome parallels of the OPTIC rookie card. So there's a big rainbow to chase every year. So if you're trying to build out a Trevor Lawrence rookie collection, you're going to have 20 different colors, maybe even more at this point, probably 25 to 30 different colors that you can chase, different rarities. But unlike Select, all the rated rookies are going to be the exact same, so there's not different tiers within the rookie cards, just different color parallels, and that makes it way easier to follow and collect. And that's why I think it's a really popular product. It hasn't been around for as long as some of the others on this list. OPTIC first released for football in 2016, but it's still a very affordable box compared to number 1 on the list. It is about a third the price, or half the price, kind of depending on the year. Everybody likes these rated rookie chromium cards, and it's been around long enough that I think it's going to age very well. And then finally, number 1 is PRIZM. I personally prefer OPTIC because I think it's better bang for your buck, and because the OPTIC Hollows, which are kind of the equivalent of the PRIZM Silvers, OPTIC Hollows are a lot more rare, but PRIZM is still the golden boy of collecting, and most people prefer PRIZM cards. I've shared before that I actually bought a brand new car by investing in sealed PRIZM before the 2020 sports card boom, and that said, I can't really knock PRIZM investing because I've personally benefited from it. So it is a brand that's been around since 2012, and its legacy is infused into every other brand of Optichrome cards, because PRIZM has its own color variations, and where Topps had the refractors, PRIZM has PRIZM cards, and every other Optichrome brand has PRIZM cards. So you can get an OPTIC refractor essentially that says PRIZM on the back. So PRIZM in many ways is the grandfather of sports card refractors. It is very expensive to enter, but when you're buying a hobby box and you're usually getting at least 10 numbered PRIZMs plus a lot of silvers and a couple autographs, it's still, there's so much potential of pulling a big boy card that the thousands of dollars that a box of PRIZM can cost is often justifiable. If I have the personal choice between ripping a box of PRIZM and then a 7-card box that has 2 or 3 hits, the 7-card box is a lot higher probability of just striking out, so you're taking a lot more chance there. PRIZM's nice because you get 144 cards per box. I love PRIZM. Everybody loves PRIZM. Should it be the number 1 on the list? That's what I want you to tell me. So comment below with your thoughts. Share your top 5 sports card brands to invest in long-term below. And we're excited to see also what happens to these brands when Topps begins to take back over with the sports cards here in the next few years, when Fanatics ends up taking back the license from Panini. What's going to age well? Will it be PRIZM? Will it be the high-end cards? Maybe a surprise contender should be higher on this list. I want to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Come back for our next video.